Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Some are calling it the Minneapolis Miracle Part 2. 33-0 was the score at halftime against the Indianapolis Colts, and unfortunately the Vikings were not the team with 33, but the Vikings ended up winning the football game in overtime 39-36. It is the biggest comeback in NFL history. This game was absolutely insane. There were a bunch of moments throughout the entirety of the game where it did not look like Minnesota was going to come away with the victory, or just things weren't going their way, specifically in the first and second quarter. It really was a game of two halves. The defense stepped up when they needed to step up. They only gave up 3 points in the second half and the last overtime combined. So it's just, I'm still kind of without words here. It really was crazy. It was very similar to the Buffalo game, but even crazier than that somehow. So welcome back to the channel. We're talking Vikings today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it. Vikings fans, I mean, this is crazy. And honestly, the whole season's been crazy. You know, they now have 7 comeback victories. They have double-digit one-score games on the season. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for this Minnesota team, and for the most part, sitting at 11-3, they've gotten the job done. So let's try and get to 500 likes for this crazy victory. If you guys want more Vikings content, let me know down below. I do post daily NFL videos and at least a couple of Vikings videos every single week, but we're getting closer to playoff time, and you know, it just kind of is still the same mantra where they're finding ways to win. You know, they really are just finding ways to win. I know that the defense itself, more so than the offense, has its holes. They have their flaws. You know, they can give up a big play. They can make mistakes, whatever the case may be. But when the defense needs to step up, we've seen it time and time again, getting red zone interceptions with the game on the line, getting red zone stops with the game on the line. When they need to, they get the stops. And that, truthfully, all you need is to win. It doesn't have to be pretty. Obviously, you would like it to be more pretty, specifically Vikings fans, with all these one-score games, all these comeback victories. You would, you know, for emotional health, physical health, you would like it to be a little bit close, or not as close. You'd like it to be a little bit more, you know, foot on gas, but a win is a win at the end of the day. And that's what Minnesota's been doing all season. Kirk made some mistakes, especially in the first half, a couple of interceptions. I will say the refs definitely weren't helping out the Minnesota Vikings today, but it's the biggest comeback in NFL history, man. It's everything about this game was absolutely insane. They put up 22 points in the fourth quarter, and even though Kirk Cousins wasn't perfect, once again, Kirk Cousins doesn't need to be perfect as long as you're playing a clean football game, which they did in the second half. 2 interceptions, but he had 4 touchdowns, 460 yards. He finished with a rating at 99.3. He made the throws when he needed to make some throws, all right? That screenplay with like 2 minutes left in the game to Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook went, 64 yards for the touchdown on a screen. Give it to your playmakers and let them make plays. That what really sticks out for me with Minnesota in this offense is obviously you have the best wide receiver in the NFC, possibly even the NFL. 12 catches, 123 yards, and a touchdown today. But you also have a really multifaceted other playmaker in Dalvin Cook. 17 carries, 95 yards, and you know, to have 17 carries when your team is down 33-0 at halftime, 17-0 after the first quarter, that's impressive. 5.6 yards per rush, but then he had that huge 64-yarder, finished with 4 catches and 95 yards. So almost 200 combined yards for Dalvin Cook. KJ Osborne, huge touchdown to put him on the board early in the second half. 10 receptions, 157 yards. He had a 63-yard touchdown catch. I personally think KJ is one of those players where I think if they can really get him going and get him more involved in these last couple of games for Minnesota, I think that's only going to do them benefits. You know, TJ Hawk, it was interesting. He got targeted 9 times. He had 3 catches. He had the most important catch right in the numbers, right as the game was coming down to an end. It was 34-36. Dalvin Cook gets a reception, goes for 64 yards, and they have to convert on the 2-point conversion. Kirk Cousins made a phenomenal throw. TJ Hawkinson made a phenomenal catch. He's had his issues with drops. We've kind of seen it with Detroit. We've seen it a little bit so far this season. It wasn't a pretty game for TJ. I'm actually playing him in fantasy, so I can't really complain. But I think TJ Hawkinson, you got him for a reason. But I think TJ Hawkinson and KJ Osborne, I'm circling those two guys as big X factors because Double J is going to get double teamed. They're going to play him extra, as any top wide receiver will. But I think opposing defenses could get to the assumption where it's like, all right, if we can stop Justin Jefferson, they're not going to beat us. That's not really the case because you have Dalvin Cook, you have TJ Hawkinson, you have Mr. Consistent Adam Thielen, and if you have KJ Osborne, he's still a young, promising player. He's only been in the league for a handful of seasons. If you can get him going like he is today, get that confidence all the way up like it is today, keep this going until the end of the season, you won't regret it come postseason. So I do have a guy like KJ Osborne circled. Defensively, obviously Indianapolis kind of got some nice breaks there. It wasn't like, the defense just solely gave up 33 in the first half, but I know they have some defensive back issues. I know some people have issues with the defensive line. I just think I know JT went down. I know it's Matty Ice and he's getting close to retirement, but still, to technically give up 33 in the first half, to just give up 3 in the final 40 minutes of game, that's huge. That is absolutely huge because if your offense is not having easy time scoring the ball, if they're not having an easy time moving the chains, your defense is going to be out there a lot, right? Defense was out there a lot for the first half, and they stuck with it, man. They're resilient. It's a resilient defense, all right? And it's an extremely resilient team. I don't know. I don't think anybody else can really put I think a perfect word is resilient is what this Minnesota Vikings team is. I don't know if anybody has been able to put a word to describe this Minnesota team this year other than special. It just is special. They're just finding ways to win. And obviously, there have been some hiccups. They're probably not going to get that number 1 seed with Philadelphia just continuing to roll. That, we'll talk about that a little later on when it comes. But if Minnesota is at home, especially if they're at home in the playoffs, if you're just playing them, they're going to give you a game, man. They're going to give you a game. There have been some tough ones like Dallas coming on a short week. Every good team, every team that has gone far is going to have hiccups in the road. So there have been a couple hiccups for Minnesota, specifically 3 of them. But they just come right back at it the next week and get that momentum, get that confidence back on their side. So truly insane win, true miracle win. Largest comeback once again. I still am without words really to describe today's game. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, but most importantly, guys, let me know what you thought about today's game down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Minnesota. It's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if they could do it all. I just wouldn't. It's just a special year for them. So, really resilient win. Peace.